Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bravo Tea with a Stay-at-Home Mom. I'm Erica, and I'm ready to talk all things Bravo.
Welcome back, everybody. And on this episode, we are going to be getting into a little Bravo tea that has been happening. So, even though I am only currently recapping one show because we are done with Jersey, we are soon going to get shows in the fall. We got The Real Housewives of New York coming back October 6th. I believe. So I do watch that. So I will be recapping that. And we just got the trailer of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And I know if some of you are driving, you may crash into a stop sign or faint if you were standing up. I have not watched The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City before. I know. So I think I'm going to add that on my list. I just need to play catch up a little bit right now. So once my kids go to school, maybe every morning when I'm like working out, I'll like watch one episode of the last season so I could get caught up before the new season starts, because I feel like that would be a show I like and I would love to recap that for everybody. But in the meanwhile, we will still be entertained with a little Bravo tea. And then, like I said, we'll still have Orange County. So let's just get into the happenings as of lately. So, like I said, we got the trailer for The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and we're having New York coming back soon in the fall. And we are getting so much tea on the Valley. Like, the Valley season 2 is going to be so good already. So I could start playing the lottery, because before I even read the information, because I did my podcast, I recorded it the day before all the info came out. So I saw that Lala and Sheena were filming like a while ago at a party. And I said, oh my God, does this mean because Jax is doing like the mental health thing and he's away that we're going to get them more full time? I was right. So I should start playing the lottery, because I said, mark my words on the last podcast, that that's what's going to happen. And then what do you know? Literally the next day, articles are coming out that Sheena is basically a full-time cast member and Lala is kind of like a friend of. See, I thought we weren't even going to get them both in a friend of at all capacity. I thought we were going to get them like we did season 1. They were at Brittany and Jax's party, which wasn't weird to me. It's not weird when I see people pop up, because it's like, okay, you really are friends with them. But I was like, that's what we need to leave it at. Arm's length. You're just friends with them. And as soon as Vanderpump stopped, I feel like Lala was like, look, sheesh, we got to become friends with these people even more. Like, now Lala does Amazon Lives with Michelle about upcoming baby things you should buy. It's like, first of all, Michelle isn't pregnant, just you are. So I don't know the logic of you people doing the Amazon Live together for baby items, because you're the only one with the bun in the oven, not her. And it's just weird to me, because never really saw Lala being that close with her. And now it's like, oh, can we be friends? I think Lala and Sheena are playing it just like a housewife would. Like, they have that reality TV brain, which is good for being on reality TV, but sometimes not good for your personal life and friendship life. But they have like the same brain, I feel like. So they tag team on these ideas. I think they were like, look, we're in danger for Vanderpump Rules. Tom Sandoval was suing Ariana. The shit may hit the fan. We got to really be friends with these people on the Valley. So then they could be like, oh, look, Lala, Sheena, you already live in the Valley and you're friends with these people. Might as well just slip you on in. Even though they said they weren't for season 2. But alas, things have changed, because Jax Taylor checked into a mental facility for his mental health. Not a mental facility, like a facility to treat his mental health. So at first he was like kind of working on it and still being at home, and Brittany is still renting an Airbnb. That poor soul, like, her bills must just be out the butthole, because she's renting an Airbnb. And when I see her pictures, it looks super nice. So I'm sure it's expensive. And she's still paying for the bills for the house, because it is only fair. Like, her name still is on the house. But that's why, honestly, her and Jax need to figure out what's going on, because footing the bills for 2 households is annoying and a lot. But he is now actually at a facility, but just read today that he is going to be leaving this Thursday, and he will be filming for season 2 of The Valley. He was not fired. He doesn't not want to come back. And honestly, I hope he stayed in there as long as he needs to. I feel like he caught wind of Lala and Sheena stealing his job, and he was like, mm-mm. He's like, it is just the Valley season 1 cast. You both get the heck out of here, because he was the one that really went on the tangent when him and Brittany were still doing the podcast together, like a long time ago. I feel like when the season was airing, and he was like, yeah, I don't want any new people to come on as cast members. Like, we need to leave it be. Vanderpump Rules is Vanderpump Rules. You could tell he's like, I am controlling the situation. I don't want you on my show and blah, blah, blah. And honestly, since him and Brittany are split, and it's like they're not divorced, but they're still separated. Obviously, everyone's on Brittany's side. So he's probably also panicked getting like Sheena and especially Lala, like man-hating Lala, on the show to then get him at like an uncomfortable dinner and really put him on the spot. And I can already picture Lala's 2 fingers pointed as the gun and being like, you want to get popped, Jax, for saying that to Brittany? I'm going to go pop my baby out and then I want to pop you. So I really hope they don't ruin season 2, because I feel like the Valley was really good season 1. It's a disappointment we didn't get a reunion, because I feel like we would have gotten like even deeper into the Jax and Brittany split, the Jesse and Michelle split. But I guess we'll just have to wait for season 2 to really get more into their splits. But moving on to another little piece of gossip, Jen from the Real Housewives of Orange County. So I just started following her on Instagram, and I just saw this post she did a couple days ago, and it says, I'm just going to read the whole post. It says, Rolex 101 with a wink face. And by the way, the post is like a picture of her taking a selfie with that like stainless steel Rolex. It's like the Rolex heard around the world. She probably could get a lot of money for it now because it's just being talked about so much. It says with like little bullet points underneath, Rolex watches run on perpetual motion. Because Emily was like, oh, your Rolex doesn't even work, you're poor. But it needs to like constantly be moving. My sister-in-law got my husband this like this case to put his on, and it like spins around and continuously moves around. Because may I just say, I do find it odd that they are such expensive watches and they stop. I need to know the history behind that. I feel like I want to like read the history behind that, because I could go buy a $20 watch at like Kohl's and it's not going to stop. It's going to roll all day long, like whether I'm wearing it or it's rotting in the drawer for a year. So I always did think it's very weird that you always have to have the Rolex moving, because let's say you never take the thing off ever. When you're sleeping, you're not moving your wrist constantly. So I do find it weird that it just stops time. And then it's like, you look down and go, oh, I don't know what time it is, but that doesn't mean I'm poor and my Rolex doesn't work. It's just I'm not shaking my wrist at all times. Like I have like a problem. And what's that? Parkinson's, like just constantly shaking my Rolex watch so it works. And then it says, I own 2. My man, and then she tagged Ryan, gifted me both of them. I am not selling either of them. They are not broken. A Rolex has to be wound when it has not been worn. Much love from your dumb, stupid, no integrity, broke, Malibu, Barbie, Ding Dong Land, OC, housewife. I was like, damn. When I read that, I mean, Emily was coming at her hard. So obviously now they're watching it in real time and they're seeing what people say behind their back, and or just reliving like that dinner that they just had. And it's almost like you forget about it, or when things happen in the moment, you're like, don't remember everything people say. But then when you sit down and get to watch an argument all over again, you're definitely taking notes. And I just felt like this song was appropriate to put with the post when I made a post about it too. Because she's like from Oklahoma or whatever. So I was like, and I feel like Emily's calling her poor. So I was like, oh, Rolex on a redneck. That's a good one. But it is like a sticky situation. Ryan gave them to her. Don't even know when that was. That could have been when she was still like paying her rent or wherever she was. But yeah, maybe you shouldn't flaunt it around if you can't even pay your bills, because I get what Emily's saying, but she is being harsh. Her hanging out with Tamara is making her a little harsh, which is what I said in my last episode for the Real Housewives of Orange County recap when Gina was like, oh, it's like you guys try to out asshole each other. So she actually says that on the next episode, but that's what she had said to Shannon when she was talking to her. And then Shannon relayed the message to Emily that, oh, yeah, I don't like you and Gina fighting, but I am going to tell you this, and it's definitely going to start a fight between the two of you. Oh, God. Oh, and then in other news, some hot Bravo tea, we got Ariana Maddox's brother, Jeremy, getting arrested with 100 pounds of weed on him. And I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? So they're like estranged. They are not close, which that's sad because he used to be on the show with her and I feel like has used her to even stay relevant. But Ariana's mom actually wrote a letter to the judge as a part of like a plea for him. So I don't really know how much time he's going to face, but honestly, 100 pounds of marijuana is a lot. I don't know if it matters if it's legal or not. You're probably only allowed to have so much on you, and then it's considered like you're actually just selling it, which you're not allowed, I'm sure, unless you have a distribution license to sell it. But we know Ariana won't be writing a character letter for him. You bet your bottom dollar Sheena will be like sprinting to the courthouse to get on the stand and defend him. I could just see her doing something like that because she was like oddly close with him when he got engaged. Like when they were uploading scenes from Sheena's house, like on her Instagram story, I went, who's that she's like with? And I'm like, is that Jeremy, Ariana's brother? I'm like, that is so weird. And that was right after the Vanderpump Rules reunion. And Ariana already feels, I feel like, a little insecure about her friendship with Sheena. And that's just like a nail in the coffin for me, honestly. It's like, first of all, that's my brother. If I'm not even close with my own brother, why the heck is he with you getting engaged? Like, that's major too. It's not like you're just there having a nice tea together. He's actually choosing to spend the night of his engagement with you and Brock. So weird. That's what I mean. I feel like these shows just really mess up people's true friendship. That's why, odd comparison, but like Margaret's friend on the Real Housewives of New Jersey that wanted to come on, Laura, maybe Margaret deep down didn't want her to come on the show because she knew they wouldn't be friends anymore. And then look at the type of person she turned out to be, divulging all this information to Teresa and Jennifer and then making up, because yes, I do believe it was made up, the whole Melissa making out with that hot guy in the back of a car, even though he is pretty attractive. But I don't think that happened because you know what? I feel like there would be pictures, something. You know, someone would want to sell that to Radar online. The driver of the car, like, hello? So I don't believe that for a second. And all these text messages are still coming out. So I don't know if you guys follow the account Chrissy Balls. She does the Pop Culture Live. I think that's what it is, her podcast. Let me look it up real quick. Yeah, Pop Culture with Balls. That's what it is. So her name is Chrissy Balls on Instagram. So she is the one that posts all this stuff, and she always talks to Gabriella, which was Melissa's old nose. She literally just posted like these text messages from Jennifer Aiden to Gabriella, and it was like wild. Like it was like, can you take this account down? Like we need to do this, we need to do that. And then it was like, how dare you turn my back? Obviously this was the end. How dare you turn your back on me? I bought a stroller for your baby. Can I just ask why you did this? It's like, probably because she like woke up one day, was like, oh my God, I am being so awful. So some of you that are listening may be like totally blind eye to Teresa or Jennifer Aiden, be like, no, I don't believe any of that. It could be fake. I don't think so, because we already have had everyone on the cast say that Jennifer did leak screeners to people so that they could tweet all these nasty things in real time to the cast. And it's just, this season was so dark and so wild on the internet that I believe all of those people that are coming forward with all those receipts, with all the text messages. And even the way they were like typed, like Teresa's, I'm like, yeah, that's like a text message Teresa would send. Just like the verbiage and everything. And you could say, oh, someone could make it up, but it's like, no, it was definitely her. It's wild. I can't wait to find out who was going to be on the cast moving forward. Honestly, I feel like Jennifer Aiden would have to be fired just because she leaked screeners, because I'm sure it's in their contract saying you can't do that. Like, only certain people get access to screeners. Fingers crossed one day. Hopefully that could be me. That would be wonderful. But yeah, I mean, you need a password to watch all that stuff. So Jennifer Aiden was just giving her password to everyone. Maybe she could give me the password like right now in case she doesn't get fired. I can watch them. But yeah, putting aside just being nasty or however everyone treated each other, I feel like that goes back on your contract and therefore it would have to be terminated, in my opinion. I don't know how they're going to move forward because I just think it's gotten so dark that they shouldn't necessarily fire everyone and punish everybody. They should just kind of fire the dark people, like the ones that have made it like grim and depressing and just not as fun as it used to be. Now, I said before, we need to GoFundMe for good old Danielle Staub. Danielle. Everyone, there's this one account, I think it's like Northeast Housewives. She always puts, remember when Danielle, because Jacqueline would always pronounce it like that, like Danielle. So she spells it Dinyell. She's like, remember when Danielle rode around Franklin Lakes in her white Range Rover with that Danny guy? So we need to get Danielle back. She wants $2 million a season. If we fire Teresa and Jennifer Aiden, we could definitely scrounge together the $2 million. So let's do that. She could bother Margaret a little bit. She could be the new villain. And they could resolve the hair pulling issue. Maybe they could be friends again. I don't know. I feel like if she came back on the show, like let's say it was the complete cast right now, and then we just added Danielle back, I think she would be friends with Teresa and Jennifer Aiden. And they'd be like, oh, if anyone's going to take Margaret down, Jackie was too weak. We need Danielle. We need Danielle. And we need Danny. Remember that crazy, like definitely did time for murder or drugs guy that would like follow her around, and it was like said like Danielle's bodyguard / friend. You know, she was probably giving him sexual favors in exchange. Like honestly, he probably liked it, like going to all these like fancy things. But his famous words were when they were asking him to leave the brownstone because he didn't have like a seat. He didn't pay to be there. And I don't know why Danielle thinks she's like P. Diddy and needs like entourage with her that's just not going to pay for their seat. And they kicked him out. And he was like, the Manzos, or no, he was like, a punk is a punk and the Manzos are punks. That's what he said. The direct quote from Danny. I don't remember his last name, but I'm going to Google it right now because he was infamous. He was just as infamous as Danielle, honestly. I would love if they like ran off together. Oh, Danielle's 62, guys. Is that wild? Wow. I'm like shocked she's that old, honestly, because Teresa's in her 50s. I didn't know Danielle. I thought her and Danielle were honestly the same age. That's like really interesting. Let's see. Danielle Staub and Danny. Danielle Staub's tough guy friend, Danny. Oh, what happened to Danny? Oh, listen to this last name. Profazano? Oh, yeah. In 2003, a judge sentenced him to 10 years in prison. Wow. Yeah, he was shady. He was fun to watch, though. What if like they ran off together? Because remember she was married to Marty, who was ugly. But remember he said to Joe Benigno too, he was like, you know, when Danielle walks into a room, Margaret doesn't even want to be in that room because Danielle's so beautiful. It's like, oh my God, what's going on? And Danielle was looking good then. Do you know what was weird? She looked good during the season. And then when it came time for the reunion, she looked awful. It's like she got something done to like the lower half of her face. And it's like, girl, what'd you do? Because you actually looked good all season. Like, Do you have an allergic reaction to your like lip filler? Because it looked bad. It looked really bad. So I was actually kind of surprised that she even got anything done. But okay, so this is the update on Danny. So it said in 2003 the judge sentenced him to 10 years. And then although he only served a fraction of that time, more than 15 years later, Danny was arrested for allegedly harassing his disabled ex-girlfriend. What? After they'd fought about money he reportedly owed. Oh my God, it's like a trend with people out in Jersey. Per the New York Post, in 2021, the reality star, I love how they call him the reality star, but technically he was just on the show because of Danielle. It says in 2021, he was ordered to pony up over $220,000 in damages to his ex. What? Oh, wait, but it does say he still works in Hollywood? What? He went to Hollywood? What? Wow. He acted in a slasher film? What? This is so fun reading about him. This is wild. In 2002. Wow. Okay, that's interesting. So he was out there making movies and then he moved back to Jersey to be with Danielle. Wow. All right. Well, we learned a little bit about him. I wonder how he paid her all that money. Maybe he had money. Remember he would like hang around with Danielle though, and it was like he was wearing like rags for clothes, I feel like. Those are usually the like low-key rich people though that look like homeless hobos, honestly. Not like Jennifer Aiden. I feel like her and Bill do have money, but did you guys all see that video too? Her like going around her kitchen and she's like, oh, how many refrigerators do I have in the house? Hold on, I gotta play the audio for it. It was awful.
8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
That was so annoying. She's like, oh, everyone's in bed and I'm going to have some cookies because I take Ozempic, so it doesn't matter how many cookies I eat. She didn't say that part. And I'm going to get some milk. And then she like waved her Costco milk. Honestly, I was just shocked that it's okay for her to have Costco milk in her house. And then she's like, I couldn't find any in the main fridge. And then I remembered it was in another fridge. I have so many refrigerators, guys. How many do you have? I think I have. And then she stood there and did the counting. Like I just played and it's like, okay, you have 9 refrigerators. No one cares. Just like we don't care that you have 16 toilets. Don't care. Don't care. Don't know. Don't care. Like out of sight, out of mind. How many refrigerators in the pool house? I feel like that's what the Post said too. It was like Jennifer Aiden counting how many consecutive nights Bill has spent in the pool house. Somebody made the meme. That's so funny. Wait, who made that? Oh, it was the Chrissy Balls girl, the pop culture with balls. Counting how many consecutive nights he spent in the pool house. I wonder if he still sleeps out there. I feel like we did see the inside of the pool house and it was pretty sweet. I feel like he had a guy's night out there. That's what I mean too. I feel bad that creepy Louie kind of dragged Bill down to not have fun with the other guys. Because remember, before Louis was in the picture and they were at the Jersey Shore, and that was when Teresa was single, like right kind of, maybe it was like a year after she got out of jail. She was, they were all down the shore and they were like, Bill, we're making you a Guido today and we're going to rename you Tony. And they got him like drunk. They brought him back into the house. That's what I mean. Like, whatever the like little bickering that Joe, Melissa, and Teresa always had, because it's like, you know what, family, siblings, get it. But I miss them all being together because that never really stopped them from all filming together and being together. Like Joe Giudice and Joe Gorga like head charged each other back in the day, and we still got full-time filming with those people. So it's like Louis single-handedly ruined the show, in my opinion, because nobody wants to sit with them. Nobody wants to hang out with them. Like all the guys were just, all the Jersey guys were doing stand-up with Joe Gorga this past weekend. at Harrah's in Atlantic City. I would have liked to go. I looked up the tickets, but they were a little expensive, and we would have to sleep there because we're like an hour and 45 minutes from there. And getting a hotel room in Atlantic City on a Saturday night in August would probably $1 bajillion and or already booked. So I was like, no, we can't. We just saw the Gorgos. We're fine. But I would like to see the comedy thing. It does look pretty funny. And then all the ladies are there too. That's also why I would like to go, because then they're like just walking around the casino. So Melissa's sisters were there. Melissa was there. Margaret, Rachel, Dolores. I think Dolores was there because Frank did it. Oh, and they just had the softball game. So Dolores, Margaret, Rachel, Danielle. Oh, yeah, Danielle and Nate were at the comedy thing too. Melissa and Joe weren't at the softball thing because they were in Boston doing an appearance, but they would have been there. So isn't that just like make it obvious who should come back? Because who wasn't there? Teresa and Jennifer Aiden. But they are on vacation together. But see, that's what I mean. Let's, if it would make people feel better and Bravo feel better, give her a little spinoff and Jennifer Aiden could be the friend of or permanent guest forever on that show. And then continue with the current cast on Housewives. So then we can have the best of both worlds, because it's like almost like everyone is happy in that situation. So we're not breaking everybody up and firing them from their jobs on the Real Housewives of New Jersey. And then we're pivoting and giving Teresa her own show with the daughters and Creepy Louie, and Jennifer Aiden can be on that show. And maybe we'll even get pop-ins from Jackie, but I bet Jackie isn't even talking to them. And who she's not talking to anymore is Jen Fessler, because she has flown the coop from, so the two T's in a pod, which is Tamra and Teddy, have the two Jersey J's like under them. So I guess they like almost like produce their podcast. And it was Jen Fessler and Jackie Judas Goldschneider. I found that weird because they did the podcast together and Jackie's not even on the show anymore. And definitely not a fan favorite at all after this season. So I was like, okay. So they have cut ties. I don't know if Jen Fessler's like, look, I watched everything and you're despicable. I just can't do a podcast with you anymore. Or if Jackie was like, oh, I don't want to do the podcast with you anymore. It's like, okay, girl. Well, at this point, Jackie and Raquel should do a podcast together, because nobody wants to listen to either of them. Because I feel like Raquel keeps talking about the Jax to pivot back to the very beginning gossip. Raquel keeps oddly talking about the Jax mental health thing. And it's like, just because like you went through that, don't feel like you're going to like relate to Jax. And I mean, could you imagine if they hooked up? Would that literally be so wild, just because of like her trying to like, I don't know if she's trying to relate to him, but like, honestly, that would crack me up.
Rotten Hill.
Raquel, don't do it. Don't do it. You've already slept with too many men, too many on Vanderpump Rules, and made out with too many. But I feel like that's all the Bravo tea I have for now. And then later in the week, we will be recapping the Real Housewives of Orange County. I'm excited for Tamra and Shannon to sit down for that dinner. And poor Shannon, I feel like she leaves. That's what it showed in the preview. And then, Gina and Emily have another talk, and Gina's like, yeah, you guys try to out-asshole each other, asshole. Like, that's how she talks. I do like Gina, but when she kind of gets on a rant, she like really talks like this, like I'm from New York. It's like, we get it. Doesn't that accent rub off a little bit? She's lived in Orange County for a while. Do you know what's funny too? So her and her ex-husband, Matt, came from Long Island together. He doesn't sound like that at all. It's just Gina. It's really just Gina. I don't know if she emphasizes it and it just comes out when she gets like heated. I don't know. But Orange County's pretty good. Like I always say, and I said on my last episode, Alexis is getting on my nerves. But that's going to be interesting to dive deep into that more too, because it has come out that those videos that John Jansen is holding for like blackmail and ransom are Ring camera footage things. And it's like, okay, like, let's watch you on the Ring camera too, little butt plug. I mean, he's the one that threw Shannon out of the house and put the harm of Archie on Shannon. I mean, that's what I mean. If somebody got hurt, I wonder if he would have been liable at all, a little bit, just because he did kick her out of the house. I mean, what was she going to do? Like, just stay there against like his wishes and will? I mean, he literally was like, get out, as JoJo would say, get out. But I'm also going to get out and let you guys carry on with your day. So I hope you enjoyed the little Bravo tea that I had for you.
As always, this was so fun, and you could find me on Instagram at Bravo T with the Stay at Home Mom, Spotify, and Apple. Till next time, see ya.